So last week I did a video similar to this, going out and charting a bunch of software stocks that have had a big decline. And if you'll see here, these AI stocks in healthcare in 2026, this has become a pretty popular format for finance influencers on X to use to kind of broadcast, what are some names in a certain industry that have a good narrative. So as we teach in the Bison Blueprint, narratives are fine. They can help push the price up. But when you see stuff like this, you have to go out to the chart and figure out, is it a good buy at this price or not? What is the chart telling you? Um, and that's how I grew my account 600% in 2025, was by only looking for the best entries. So a lot of people get so wrapped up in things like Intuitive Surgical has this new product. It's super cool. But what is the price telling us? Is the price going to go up because of that? Does it have room to go up? So let's hop into some of these names. We'll go through these one by one and just give them a high level chart. And we're going to categorize them here in the bottom, whether they're a great buy. So where it's sitting like right at its support level, there's almost no downside to this one. A good buy, you're definitely like 80-20. The risk is in your favor, but you might experience a little bit of a drawdown. But if you're a seasoned investor, you can handle that. 50-50 land, some of these are just kind of sitting in the middle. Like they could go down in the near future, they could continue to go up. And that's where you have to have um, some discernment not to jump into those names. There's some that are going to be a bad buy where the price is just too high. And then there's some that are actually just a potential sell where the price is already appreciated to a point where I'm just not interested in that name. And if I own it, I might sell it. So again, this is rating the entry. So if we rate something that's in 50-50 land and you already own it, that's great. If you owned it at a great price, you're going to wait for that to continue to go up. So this is talking about the entry only. So let's start here with GH. We're going to use some higher time frames here. This is the weekly chart. Looks like we're going back about maybe 5 or 6 years, 7 years. So as we look at this, the perfect entry would have been down here at $15. So we'll put a support level here, and we'll go through these a little bit faster as we start to get a rhythm here. But we've got support at 15 bucks. It's broken out from this trend line here. So stage one base, entered into stage two, and it's working way up. It's way up. So this one's honestly in 50-50 land where it's probably going to work up to 180. It's about halfway there. So I wouldn't hop in on this name. It's overheated on the weekly RSI. So there's some potential for some downside here. So this is one I would just avoid right now as an entry. Exact Sciences, same thing. We've got a clear trend line break and a big push here, which is common. We've got a support level down here around, let's say, 25 to 45. That would have been the right price to buy this name. So again, this is a 50-50 on EXAS. And let's go to AVAI. This one looks kind of like a micro cap. There's some weird price action here. We've got a trend line break here. Chart wise, this is a pretty great buy. We're sitting at support here, but because it's a micro cap, I'm going to put this in the good buy just because there's some risk there. But chart wise, it's looking pretty good. Intuitive Surgical. This one here, we've got a potential double top. We've got a trend line holding it up here. This one is honestly a potential sell. It can push up above here for its final push, but things are not looking great up there. If you own that, I'd look to get out and definitely not buy this one. So Vicarious Surgical. See if we can find a trend line here. So yeah, old trend line, And then just kind of basing out here in this area. Um, it's got a ton of potential upside. This looks like it's another micro cap. So from a chart perspective, looks pretty good, but the micro cap stuff scares me there. Let's do Tempest AI. So this one's honestly in 50-50 land. Just kind of hanging out. It's got, let's see if we can connect a trend line here. So we're sitting at trend line support. So we could see another push here. So just not as a great risk reward here, but we can see another final push and almost double here to 120. Let's go to TXG, 10x Genomics. This is a really nice looking chart. This is a perfect stage one base down here at $6. We're at 22. So we're about 3x off the highs. We're 300% off the highs. So let's go ahead and give this a good buy, just because we're off the highs a little bit. ILMN. This is one I've had charted. We actually alerted this in our group. So here with the lows, we're about $70. It's at 140. So it's already up 100%. If you can snag this around 100, if it retests here, we've got an overheated weekly RSI. So if we retest at 100, that's going to be a good buy. But inside of our group, you would have known about this back in the summer of 25 to be able to get in at these lower prices. So let's go to CRISPR Therapeutics, another one I've had charted for a while. We've got a kind of a stage one base building here. So the ideal buy I have marked is around $30. If the market wants to give that to us, that'd be cool. So we're going to go ahead and put this under a good buy. This is a bullish looking chart. Next up, we got Beam. Another really good looking chart. Let's see if we can connect some of these trend lines here. So depending on which one you use, and that's why some of this can be subjective sometimes. We've got a trend line here. We've also got one kind of here. But either way, it's broken out from them and is retesting. Looks like $13 was the low. So it came back down and found that low again. So just kind of reinforcing this support level at concept where it's bouncing. And now it's looking like it's ready to take off after this change of character. So this one's up 100% from its lows, but it does have about 4 to 5x to go. So another good buy on here on Beam. Let's do Twist, Bioscience. We've got kind of the same thing here. And as you'll start to see, these charts really start to like blend together. When you have themes like this, the charts start to look the same or similar. So again, here the low is $11. Recent low is 22. It's at 41, so it's up 100%, but it's got about 5x to the top. So this is another good buy. And again, when we say good buy, the risk is that it can come back down here to $26. So if you buy it in at 41 and go into 26, you're going to lose about 40% of your value. And that's what can cause some rookie investors to panic, is being down. So when you have the patience, if I really wanted to enter this name, what I would do is I would create an alert here and say, when price gets below $30, send me a message and I'll come back and I'll take a look at this. Remember, there's millions of opportunities in the market, so we don't have to force every single one. Molina Healthcare, this is one that we alerted in our group. That's why all the alerts are here. We alerted it down here at the end of the year in the buy zone. So this one's going to fall under another good buy just because we're almost to our first profit target. And that's not the best place to buy in, but it's not the worst. So again, had you been part of the group, you would have known about this ahead of time. Cardinal Health, this is a good example of a potential sell. Whatever narrative the news is feeding you, the company is feeding you, That's why you take a look at the chart and realize that this has already been pumped. A trend line break here, retest over the last couple of years, and then just to the moon. So we've got some MACD potential crossing. The RSI has been overheating. And these aren't the be all end all, but they're warning signs that it's getting a little too hot. So I like to use trend lines and Fibonacci's and stuff like that over MACD and RSI. But RSI just lets us know, like, hey, start thinking about that. So we've got Cardinal Health as a sell. TDOC, this is one I actually own a few shares of. Perfect stage 1 base chart. And we're actually, this one's a little messy because of my, some of the work I did. So I had a really bad entry in this a while ago, kind of chased the breakout. And now we're finally getting back into this, what looks like it could be a wick off spring here. So this is probably going to be our first great buy because we're sitting right at the very bottom here on TDOC. So let's go to Striker, back out to our weekly chart. This is a potential sell, just because same thing, it's starting to top. Let's see if we can connect the trend lines here. So we did have a slight breakdown of trend here. So this is something I would avoid here on Striker. HIMS is a super popular day trading name. I have this one marked for a buy here at about 26 bucks when we get back down to the support. So we'll throw HIMS as another great buy on this list. BeFly, Butterfly Networks. This is a pretty good buy. Just had a $7 million insider trade there. So we'll put this under the good buy because it's up quite a bit from its lows. It's up like 6 to 7%. RDNT, probably another sell here, just because it looks like a double top up here. And NOX, see if we can connect any of these. Yep, so we've got a pretty ideal buy actually at this point. We're at all-time lows. Could be kind of a wick off spring there. So we can go ahead and put this in the great buys. Go to Weave Communications. What do we got here? We've got a potential trend line break and retest. So that's looking like a pretty good buy. GE Healthcare Technology. This one is probably a bad buy. If not, it's a sell because we've got a MACD curl here, and it's looking a little bit like a topping pattern. So let's move on to Definitive Healthcare. This is a magazine, I think. So this is down quite a bit from 50 bucks. Some of these can be hard to chart because they're so small. But we've got maybe a trend line break and retest there. So I'd say this is a better buy than nothing, but it's not really something that I'm super interested in. Vive, that's probably a bad buy. Not really sure. That's kind of maybe a little bit in 50-50 land. We've got trend line here, maybe interested at 200 bucks. But if it comes below that, it's going to slice through and get pretty low. Docs, I've already got a alert set here for 31 bucks. This is kind of in 50-50 land as we look at it today. But when you get down to this 20 to 30 level, this becomes a much better risk reward. DNA, same thing, building a stage 1 base at the bottom here. This is super volatile. So I'm interested at 5 bucks. I had that marked, but this was previously $634. So this is a good one if you like things that are really volatile and you can handle it. RXRX, another name that I've owned, hence all of the stuff on here and all of the markings. And so this one's right at same thing, right at its base. It's been chopping around in this $3.50 to $7 range. So this is actually a great time for you to get in this. Better cost average than me back in January when I bought this. Not the best entry for me there. Schrodinger, same thing here. We're sitting right at this support level, 15 bucks. Something about this chart just feels really heavy, like it doesn't look like it wants to take off from here. It almost looks like a triangle pattern that's going to push this below. There's a big gap here. So I'm going to honestly put this in 50-50 land. At this point, it just doesn't look like it's super positive. BIOA, this one's been moving. It's filled that gap. So we're going to put that as a bad buy. ABSI, here near the bottom, 1.1. We're at 2.9, so we're about 100% above. So this one's going to be our good buy. And then final one here, ABCL. So we've had a couple trend line breaks here. We're up 100% from before. This one's a good buy. So again, just wanted to go through this process again, because when you see things like this, they're great infographics. It's cool that people do these and they help you kind of see where things might be happening in certain industries. But you have to go to the charts, because when you look at the information on the charts here, not all of these are a good buy. We actually have only about half of them, a little more than half, are good and great buys. The rest are things that you don't want to get involved in. So that's why knowing the charts is so important, so that you're not just getting tricked by things like this, getting the narratives. If you had gone super heavy into Intuitive Surgical, because it's a big company, it's super innovative, Cardinal, Stryker, big companies, innovative. If you went into some of these things, you're going to get burned and you have more downside than upside. So when you see things like this, take them as like a lead generation, so that you can actually go out and look at the charts and see where the opportunities might lie. So a couple great names for here for you to take action on. So hope this was helpful for you.